What's up, guys? Brett Okamoto from ESPN, joined by former interim lightweight champion Tony El Kukui Ferguson, who is kind enough to join us from his vehicle and give us a little bit of time before football practice. You're a football coach these days, huh? How's the squad looking this year?
They're doing good. They're 3-1. I got my little man, Armand Anthony, playing. He's doing good. He's on the line and he's getting through, making some sacks, and the team's doing really well, man. The Monarchs, go Monarchs.
Are you head coach or are you?
I'm assistant coach, defensive specialist, and all around just out there, just hyping up everybody, man. It's really cool to be around like the team effort. You know what I mean? Like the teamwork kind of makes the dream work thing. It's cool to be around it.
What days are their games of the week?
Saturdays, early, like really early. Like tomorrow, we got one at 9 o'clock, so we got to show up around 7, get everything probably like 6 o'clock to get the game, everything all situated on the field. But it's good, man. It's super chill.
Are you just out there for fun, or are we looking for a title this year with the?
Man, you know what? We're always looking for titles. I don't think losing's fun. I'm gonna be real, and you can't teach these kids about that. Obviously, you know, we it starts on the practice field. And it was funny at the beginning of the season, everybody would always argue with each other and they'd have so much hype in between them. But that soon stopped as soon as they played another team and we had a scrimmage. And then all of a sudden they ended up getting with the other team and they started realizing that this is actually a little bit different of a game, you know, rather than just practicing with your own teammates. So it's been a cool process to see everybody doing that, hitting swim moves over the top, and it's pretty dope, man.
I bet that is a lot of fun. I bet you look forward to Saturday mornings all the time. Obviously, the UFC just announced a fight between yourself and Paddy Pimblett. Of course, we're going to speak about that fight, but I didn't get a chance to talk to you. What's that?
Patrick.
You call him Patrick? I believe it's Paddy, but Patrick Pimblett. All right.
Patrick, you got you, Patrick.
Tony Ferguson versus Patrick Pimblett. We'll be talking about that fight. It happens in December. I didn't get a chance to talk to you after your last fight against Bobby Green.
Yeah.
Well, how did you feel? You know, can you describe the fight's over, you walk back to the locker room and we don't see you anymore. What happens in the locker room the rest of that evening?
Pissy, you know what I mean? A lot of mistakes. I put myself underneath them when I shouldn't have. Kind of like didn't take his ground and pound serious when I was doing it. I was hitting a new move. It wasn't a Minari. Everybody's like, oh, he's not as fast. Nah, I was trying to do a different one. I call it the boogeyman, where I'll just explain it right now. I shoot underneath the guy's legs and then I'm taking his back from underneath the bottom position. And I didn't do that. Before then, I had to get poked in the eye, which was kind of, I mean, it hurt and the doctor kept getting in the way. I'm sitting here trying to get my composure back, and I'm looking at Bobby. I'm looking at him in the face so that way I can see his breathing. And the more time I took, the more composed that he started getting. I was like kind of like a lose-lose situation where it was like, okay, cool, but I'm not going to take a no contest. That never even phased my mind. Like, get the fuck out of here, doc. Like, come on, we got some work to do here. But it's a fight. It didn't go my way. And, you know, that goes all the way into preparations. Wasn't like I was not doing the right thing, but I think I was more focused on my conditioning more than anything. And my conditioning has always been really good, Brett. And you know what I mean? You got to put your ducks in somewhere else, but you know, it's a different pond now. But Bobby Green fight didn't go my way. This fight with Patrick coming up December 16th. We're training with the new team, my old team, classic fight team with Tyler Wombles and his guys. I haven't worked with them. We had a mutual friend that kind of burned everything up, but then we kind of rekindled a lot of stuff over the years. And then I finally reached out to him. And I said, hey, basically, let's work. And I showed up, and it was like we never missed a beat. Nobody's ever held pads for me this way. And half the time, like, nothing disrespectful or anything bad to any person that's ever worked with me or anything. But I have people that know how to hold pads for me, and I know they know how to push me, and then they have other people to work with me and so on and so forth, like a team. It's been very frustrating after the pandemic, trying to just pull in not the wrong people, just pull in people that I thought that I could put together again to be able to get that win streak going. And it wasn't the wrong idea. It was trial and error. It was a hypothesis I had. I went with it. It was a very educated system that I had. And, you know, it just took a lot mentally to do all of that. Mm-hmm. It's like starting something from scratch. And with this fight journey, it did start from scratch, but I built up a lot of good relationships with people, and I had to rekindle those relationships. And right where I'm at right now, matter of fact, I just got done doing strength and conditioning, and I puked on that one. That was fun. And I don't miss that, but what I know is when I'm doing the right thing, my body knows, my mentality really knows it, and a lot of people they see it. I don't have to explain it. They can see it in my face. They can see how I'm moving. And I'm, like I said, Brett, I'm in a good spot. The Bobby Green fight was enough for me to kind of be like, you know what? You got to get your shit together, Tony. Like, it's like everybody says, oh, you're slower. Or you're I got tired of just hearing. I put myself in a better position with good people. Not like I said, not like I wasn't with bad people. It's just I have to put myself in positions where I can learn again and become a student again, and then go back and work with it. And fortunately, right now, I have a lot of good people around me, and I still do. I still keep in contact with a lot of the older people, but coaching my son's team really put me in that mindset to be around a team again. Um, Seeing how many coaches it takes to take a whole team to be able to do that. I mean, I have a state championship football ring. You know, I've been playing since when I was little, but to be around that what do you call it, man? That aura of what it's going to take to be able to pull together as a team and to listen and to adopt, and then be able to talk amongst the coaches, and then be able to help the kids understand what's really going on. I put myself in that same position again, so I don't have to like call the shots. Like when I'm calling the shots and I'm saying this is what I need, this is what I want, this it takes so much energy. Pardon my language, but it's so tiring, and it's almost like doing interviews all day. Afterwards, you're kind of like, I got to go to practice. No, I don't have to do that anymore. I don't have to tell people how I want to have my pads held, or if I need sparring this day or wrestling this day or whatever I need. I have somebody that I confide in, one of my buddies, and I have a couple other teammates that it's constructive criticism. Mm-hmm. It's being able to drop the ego. Like, not that I have one, but I mean, you always kind of have to have some kind. But I've just got done sparring the other day, and I haven't sparred in years, Brett. So we're doing a lot of stuff that we know that's going to make me a lot better, which I'm going to have to go in there and I'm going to have to hurt somebody. That's part of the game. You know, I'm a dad, you're a dad. Sometimes we don't want to go and do that, but it's that mental click that I have to have that switch on. And right now I'm in a good space. I really believe that I'm in a good space.
I mean, you sound like it, man. Everything that you're saying makes a lot of sense. I do want to go specifically to, what you're saying about, you mentioned it kind of twice in two different areas. And it was like, people are like, oh, you're going for that role that we've seen you do it before, but you're not as fast as you were. And then you mentioned like, people are saying you're not as fast as you were. Like, and then, honestly, dude, what comes to my mind when I hear you say that is Jorge Masvidal. Because when Jorge Masvidal retired, he was like, I still see the shots, but I can't get out of the way of them. Like I still see them. And usually I'd be like this and they're gone, but now I'm getting hit with those. So it's time to go. Like, I will say that like speed is very important in your game. Like how do you feel about your speed? Because like you bring it up a couple of times, people are talking about it. What is your take on your speed?
That goes with who you're working with. And when I went back to wildcard boxing, I found a new trainer. His name's Sammy, cool dude from Africa. He's been boxing since he was 14. And any of my other trainers, they wouldn't hit me. They wouldn't like check me to make sure my hands are up. This dude, bap, 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 continuously like, oh, what the going on here, man? And keeping me active, because that's how I learn. I learn by not by trial and error, not by, okay, this doesn't. No, look, keep your hands up. Bap. Oh, okay, hands up, protect, move. I'm faster now than I've ever been, which is the craziest thing, Brett. And I've been competing in sports for 35 years. But what it does is, if you don't get tested, if you don't have somebody testing you and teaching you new things, you start to plateau. You kind of keep up with the same thing. And then what you do is you stop learning. I'm back in that good position where I've been learning new stuff. And it's funny because when I go to wildcard and I'm sitting there talking to a boxer, everybody always says, well, I'm not, an MMA fighter, but if I were, this is what I would do. Then you're not turning yourself off. You're taking everything that you've seen before and you're applying it with what you know, and you're making an equation with it, and you're applying that to me. And I did that for a couple weeks. I felt great. I'm moving a lot different. My hands are up. My defense is a lot better. Over the years, I kind of stopped doing that. Pandemic, during Gaethje, I wanted to get hit. You can't want to do that. I would love to go toe to toe, but I'm savvy. And my box coach Sam, he straight up says, he's like, Tony, you're old. He's like, you don't need to be going toe to toe with these guys. He's like, and you're smart. He's like, you need to move and you need to utilize your movements really well. and I won't go into too much detail of what he's got me working on, but it's very smart, and it ties into my style of wrestling. The last couple of fights, my wrestling, I went underneath everybody, and I was just trying to take people down. This sport is different, man. This sport is really different. If you're not hitting blast doubles, my Chandler fight, I was looking for an outside sweep single, paying attention to the other foot, and I put myself in the position. The last couple of fights, the Diaz, I put myself in a position going under. It's me and my style of wrestling, which I love my style of wrestling. When I'm on a wrestling mat with shoes, I nobody can beat me. That's just how it goes. When I'm on in an MMA fight, we got no shoes. We don't. It's not a wrestling match. Takedowns have always been completely different with me. I've always snapped people down, took their neck, and then that was it, like completely. So I literally had to go back to the drawing board, and I bought a company. It's Atom Manufacturing, which is the Atom Takedown machine, and I got it. It's like a 50-year-old business, and the guy I learned or bought it from was Dan Gable's roommate, and I had a good couple of times I talked to him. He's on speed dial, and he just says, "Double leg, Tony." Man of very few words, Coach Rick. He said, "Double leg, all you need." And I mean, like I don't like to talk too much anymore, but when it goes into it, snap down. That snap down city. That's what everybody always feared. There's so much pressure on people that they want to shoot in on you, not you shooting on them or take a chance to do that. And I know myself as a fighter, when everything kind of seems stale, I will always create new positions by taking a chance and then being able to, get out or do whatever with it.
Yeah.
It's not, to me, it has nothing to do with being older or, what it is the experience and not having the fear. It's more balls. Like, okay, yeah, I got balls. I'm going to put myself in this position and I'm going to get back out of it, or I'm going to do something like that, or I'm going to wave them in, wearing their blood. That's something that I have to get back to. And I'm really working my way back towards it. And, the other day when we were sparring, it was light sparring. But like, even when I was talking to him, like, it's the constructive criticism is, if I can't see you, I can hear you. And if I can't hear you, then I can see you. And everybody was saying good stuff, and they were saying good constructive things that I need to work on. But the hands are high. I'm moving really good, and we're mixing it up big time. I'll send you a video of my pad work later on. I mean, I put just little slices up and stuff, but I'll send you some so you get it. I send Dana a couple and Hunter, and they understand it, man, because I think everybody was kind of worried about where everything was going with me. But I'm very fortunate to have a phenomenal fan base, supporters that around the world that just they feel what I feel, and they see what I see, and they do what I do. And even the interviews, man, like it's cool. I'm not ready to leave, but I'm ready to work. I'm ready to work smart. That's like a graduate. You know what I mean? It's like I got to go back. Oh, I don't want to go back. Yeah, you're going back to school, and you're gonna get this done the right way. That's how I feel.
Yeah. I mean, you say that your fan base is cool, and you say that like they've been worried about the way things have been going for you. And you and I have talked about kind of that topic before. And when you wrote a post on Instagram last month, and there were 10 things on it, and I won't go through every single one of them, but one of them was that I'm not retiring, and F anybody who thinks I should. You're very defiant about it, but you also like you understand their concern, I guess, right? You understand why people are like, man, I just don't want to see Tony get hurt anymore. I don't want to see him lose anymore. Like, I don't want to see him in a bad place anymore.
You know what the part is none of that punching, the kicking, like the eye poke, none of that hurts. None of that hurts. The one part that hurts is going back and then seeing like my family's face. You know what I mean? Because I'm telling you, since I was little, it's always been gold medals. Like, not even red. It's always consistently been that, or wrestling charts, or W's on the paper for football, like all the way through, dude. Like, but then so it's like, do you really want to do this? And that's the part that hurts, is when I get that question asked to me, because I'm like, I get all the like, what are you talking about? Or like, hey, you're retired, right? I'm like, no, I'm not retired. Like, you go retire. Like, I have to do. I've been competing for 35 years. I am not even close to being done. What it's going to take is a great team that got me to where when I got my championship belt, my intern, when I got that championship belt, I had a great team. But holding on to certain things sometimes can be very detrimental to yourself, which sometimes you just got to let go. Sometimes you have to let go and hold on to the things that hold on to you very tight. And that goes with faith, family, and friends. You know, you keep it all super solid, and what you want to do is you want to be surrounding yourself around people that believe in you, that in what your character is. If you say you're gonna do something and you do it, you man up to it and you own up to it. And it doesn't matter what any person says. You're out there, you're putting in the work, and it's not about posting all the work that you're doing, just like good deeds. You post all the good people think you're too good for everybody. No, dude. You do what you gotta do, and then when time comes to step on that mat, you go out there, do what you gotta do to get your hand raised in victory. And like I said, I'm in a good spot. Damn, man, like I said, one of these days, I know Schmo wants to come and do an interview and stuff and come get a workout. But if you're ever in California, I'm gonna be real, come and watch me hit pads. You know what? And I'll start opening up to you guys. So that way I've been really closed off for a long time just because I didn't want a lot of people to kind of like figure out or just take it because it was like a special sauce, but I shouldn't feel that way. Why should I feel that way? You know what I mean? If I know that what I do and I'm afraid of what I'm going to do to this guy, I'm not going to be ready. He's going to be more ready than me. That doesn't matter what you see on video and stuff. If you're ready and you feel like you're good and ready, you're going to go out there and you're going to get that W. Yeah. And like I said, I'm in that pathway right now, and I got 11 weeks ready.
Yeah, it does seem like you're in a good place, man. And I wrote down these 10 things that you wrote in that post because I found them very interesting. The other one I wanted to ask you about was you wrote, "It's taken absolutely everything to find myself happy." What did you mean by that?
Man, I got asked the question if I'm having fun with this anymore. Or, like I haven't seen you smile, Tony. Like, are you having fun? And I had to think about it for a second. Long walk, hitting some weights, and I did all the stuff and I put it together. And if showing up to my academy, if I hate it, why am I going here? What am I doing? You know what I mean? I got all these things, these people like putting all these ideas in my head. Hey, you need to retire. You need to retire. You need to retire. It never fazed me to want to retire. Like, I don't want to retire. It's not in my thought process. It's not about like getting cut. It's not about doing all this stuff. It's about competing. And what I did was I started competing without, one, having fun, and two, really giving 100% into my training. And I thought I did. But that means that I have to be coachable. I have to become a student again. I have to ask for help. And that's really hard, especially when people think that you're a Superman, that you got to go and you got to do all this stuff. And, I feel like that when I have all my support around me and when I'm doing the right thing. And right now, it's how I feel. I feel really good. I'm smiling. I'm having fun. My kid is, playing football, and I got my little one. He's 2 years old, and he fits my oldest son's helmet. Crazy, and he wears his shoulder pads, and he's getting to see his older brother do all this stuff. And they're at that age when they can see their pops go in there and whoop some ass. Before it was little, they were too little to understand that. So when people come in to ask, "Hey, can I get a picture from you?" They don't know why. They don't understand it. But I want them to see what training is really like. I want them to see what winning really is like, how much effort and time that goes into continuously winning and getting those victories. Like, it's not easy. I might make it seem like it's easy and everybody else, but damn, dude, nobody gets to see all that hard work we put in. I'm gonna be real.
Yeah, for sure. And in fact, like I feel like when I talk to fighters who have suffered a loss, a lot of times, depending on how the fight goes, that's the most frustrating part to them. Is it's like the loss. Of course, you guys are all so competitive, you don't like to lose, but you're like, I didn't get to show you what I've been working on. Like, I've been doing this thing for weeks and weeks, and I had it down and I knew what I was going to do, and then I didn't get to show it. Like that's one of the biggest frustrations that guys say after a loss.
You know what? You can go out there with a plan, but dude, I mean, the plan can go to. So unless like a bartender mentality, like you're only ready for like 5 to 10 people, and here comes 50. You're gonna have to multitask. You're gonna have to figure out a plan and then go with the flow and then serve the out of everybody. Making sure everybody's got smiles on their faces. And that's really is about. It's not about being miserable. It's not about being miserable with your training or during fight week or making the cut or whatever, or interviews. I used to hate interviews. It was just like, wow, I don't care. I don't want to. No, man, like, have fun with it again. Like, you got to get back to like how you used to start having fun with it when I first started with the UFC, how everything was so new, so fresh, how I looked at it with just like these open eyes, which was like crazy, dude. Just And I really feel like that. I really feel like I love everybody in the UFC. I love my job, you know, and it's a dope ass career. I've had plenty of time in it, but you know, I always wanted to box. I always wanted to box, but I've always like, you know, found myself wishing and wanting so much. I almost forgot about my MMA. So it's like you forget about the rest of the stuff that comes with it. So it's kind of like I had to take a step back from everybody. Nobody put these ideas in myself. It was just always me. I love to compete. Three-sport athlete: football, baseball, wrestling. MMA is just one, but it's got all of them in there. So it took me a second to really gather all of my thoughts that were up here and in my heart. It really did, and not just speak from the cuff. And like I said, we got a pretty good equation with what we got going on for sure.
So how did this fight come together? You know, I think everybody, when they saw it, obviously it's like, whoa, this is an interesting fight. There was a big reaction to it. How did it come together, and what were your thoughts on it immediately?
Well, I texted Hunter straight up, and I had a good talk with him, good little talk with him, and I sent him some messages, and he sent me back, and I have a really good relationship with the brass. You're talking about like Hunter and Dana, you know, even Sean, um, and it's cool. It's really cool the relationship I have with them. I don't ask them for anything, you know, and vice versa. But when I talked to my agent, I told him the things and the steps that I was doing to make myself better, and I talked to them, and I said the exact same thing. And Hunter said, you know, like a couple of things. I won't reiterate what he said, but they had something good for me. And then when he said that, I sent them a clip of me hitting pads, and it wasn't the same old me. And I'm moving pretty good, like pretty good. And they saw that, and I didn't hear anything for a while. And then all of a sudden, you know, I asked my agent, and he ends up hitting me up, and he says, "Hey, we got something." And I liked it. I said it was cool. Man. You know, I have nothing against the kid. You know, Patrick seems like a pretty legit dude, and you know, he gets pretty big. You know, his stand-up's okay, but his ground game's a lot better. You know, I'm gonna be real. I love fighting internationals. This is cool. I love it. You know, going after Khabib for a long time and going after McNuggets. This is about as close as it's gonna get for right now. So as soon as we get through this dude, we'll go after Connor. Get side on the dotted line and get through Usada.
Obviously, when a lot of people see this, you know what the reaction they're going to have. They're going to be like, "Oh, Paddy is their new toy. Paddy's the guy that they want to build. Tony is the guy that everybody knows. It's good if the new guy beats the guy on his way out." Like that's a narrative that's out there.
Oh,
Like,
for sure. Yeah. I get the narrative. I've been in this game for plenty of time, but I'm a 39-year-old that's faster than a lot of 21-year-olds, and I'm still learning this game, which is cool. If I didn't have, I mean, when Rocky says, "Oh yeah, I got some fuel in the tank," no, it's not almost on empty. I have a full tank, and I've had a lot of cool and bad things happen enough where I've gotten a lot of heat where people didn't know that I turned my around, like literally for not for anybody else, but for me. I mean, literally, I would say everybody, this is for me, but it's not. I've seen so many different supporters. I mean, we had a signing for the football team the other day, and a kid flew in from New York to come in for a fundraiser for my football team. It was the coolest thing, dude. People people are awesome. I don't have to give a reason for it, but we're in such a crazy sport that not a lot of people can do. But what they do is they draw inspiration from it, and you know, thank God that I'm able to use the talent that I have to be able to help somebody else get through their bad day. You know, and it helps when you see that and you talk to people and you spend less time talking to them and more time listening. And it's a lot better sometimes like that. And I draw on a lot of energy and strength from that. It's just listening to some people and hearing it about their lives and how everything is. And it's cool, dude. Like I'm really fortunate to be able to do this stuff, and I got nothing but love for all my fans and supporters, man. That's for sure.
I'm not surprised, man. I mean, you have developed a very like special connection with your fans. It's not just oh man, this guy's my favorite fighter. I mean, they're rooting for you, you know, like they will be
Yeah.
rooting for you after you retire. They're rooting for you as a human being, which is it's very cool. It's cool for me to watch that. It's cool for me to see something like that happen in this sport. The last thing I'll ask you, and then I'll let you go coach your son, is let's just address then that R word that follows you around, win or lose. This is not your last fight. I mean, if you're telling me that your gas tank is full, should nobody even ask you about retirement? Or is this like, hey, if I can't beat this guy, then maybe you have a conversation with yourself?
You know what it's going to be? It's everybody's going to have an opinion when it goes to the internet. But it's reiterating what somebody else had said. You know, everybody wants to throw the R word around. If this is my last MMA fight, what sport do you think I'm going to go do? You know what I mean? Like, I've always wanted to go to the Olympics and go wrestling. You know, at least we get to wear wrestling shoes. You know, and there's a couple opens that are out there. This year I didn't get to go and do it, but I talked to my coach and I told him I want to pursue a lot of different goals that I had in my mind, but I never had anybody pushing me to get to that next level. And it was the most frustrating thing because I would just sit there and not know what to do or who to go and ask. I just didn't know. But now it's like it's different. I have these connections that I've built, these bridges that I've just, have built over the years. The hardest part is asking. The hardest part is asking. If I had to ask somebody, hey, do you think I should retire right now? Any of my trainers, they'd be like, no. They would say that. Like if somebody were to come in there with the spot, I'm not hearing any of that. Only people that I'm hearing it on is through this one, that one right there. And I don't, it doesn't faze me. Sometimes, like if somebody puts something kind of funny towards it, I still don't laugh, I'll kind of laugh, but I only know how to compete. I know how to compete, go to school and run business. That's what I know. And I know how to win, but I have to put myself in that position, how to know how to win. And that's by asking for help and making sure that you're getting the right help.
Yeah. Awesome interview, man. I really, really appreciate your time. I got more for you, but I'll let you go. I'll let you get back to your son, and we'll do it again before the fight's up. I'll shoot you a text and bug you, and we'll do it again.
All right, my man. Thank you very much.